Hello, and welcome to an episode of Todd Talk. The Todd Talks people listen, hopefully. And today we have a death battle preview for Kenji versus Rockley. Sanji versus Rockley. I'm so sorry. Yes, I said Kenji in my reaction to the last death battle. I'm sorry. I don't watch One Piece. I did not remember the name. Yes, it is Sanji versus Rockley. So I just want to note ahead of time, again, I do not know One Piece. I only know a few of the characters like Monkey D. Luffy and Roronoa Zoro, and of course, Porcas Diaz, all the ones that have shown up in Death Battle, basically, and now Sanji. So I probably will be butchering names of Hakis and other things, so just bear with me, okay? All right. So let's get right into it with Sanji. Sanji was one of the many princes of the Germa Empire, great name. And his father, Judge, love the names, uh, wanted to have children who were basically monsters, not in terms of like physical characteristics or whatever, but he wanted them to be merciless, unfeeling, super powered beings. But his wife didn't want that at all. So what she did was she took like a tonic potion to try and counteract this serum or whatever that was put into her to give Judge these superpowered children in the hopes that one of them would indeed be normal. And Sanji was the result of that. And as the prince of this very power driven father, he and his siblings were put through rigorous tests of strength and speed and whatever. And because of his mother's potion, tonic, whatever, Sanji was indeed normal. So he didn't have the super speed or the super strength that his brothers and sister had, so he was constantly beaten up and mocked and what have you. And eventually, via some help from his sister, who was, I guess, 50-50 on the crazy scale, helped him escape. And eventually, he would go on to help be a cook to pirates, then got shipwrecked, got found by another pirate, and he eventually became the culinary master of fighting that we all know today. He was trained from a very young age, not just by his family because of their tests and all that, but by a man named Zeph, who taught him not just how to cook, but how to fight. And because of that and his own natural abilities, which he honestly did have to an extent, Sanji became a very capable cook and fighter. His biggest thing being endurance. Ever since, because of the test and the mocking of his family, he was beaten up often, and so he naturally gained that ability to just endure everything. But eventually, through Zeph's training, he became a much greater fighter, albeit one that has a very particular style of fighting called black leg style. And in short, it's a mixture of various martial arts that revolve around kicking, but he will not use his hands. He will not use his hands for the simple reason that he is a cook. And if his hands were hurt, he would not be able to cook. And to be clear, he's a great cook. It is specifically stated that he is one of the best cooks in the land. And his dream mission, if you will, outside of the ladies, I'll get to that later, is to find the all cook, a paradise of cooks where north, south, east, and west cook meet or whatever. I didn't dare look into it. My mind was already blown. But yes, he is a fantastic cook, and so he did not want to hurt his hands. And so even though his strength is massive, he decided that the only way he would use his hands in combat, outside of like one or two instances, was by using them for like handstands and springing into action to help deliver his powerful kicks. Now, his techniques are numerous, and they all have various purposes, and they're all named after food, specifically French food, such as his speciality, the flaming kick, Diable Jambe. I was gonna go with Diable, where he literally sets his leg on fire and uses it to burn people to cinders. All right, and that move was impressive enough, and but even though this is just crazy anime stuff, but it specifically stated that the reason that Sanji can use the Diable Jambe, whatever, to fight is that it burns hot, his heart burns hotter, and thus he can't be hurt. However, it is also stated that at least pre-time skip, which is important, pre-time skip, that he could only use the move a certain amount of time before his leg would break. But even without that move, he's incredibly capable, including being able to do the air walk, where he kicks the he kicks the air in such a way that it actually creates sonic booms, and he can use that to run on air and even run underwater. It's even stated that he is as fast as a fish man underwater using his air jump or airwalk or whatever, even though a fishman is at its peak underwater. What? All right, and but his kicks are so powerful that they can. He actually knocked out Luffy momentarily, and in the post time skip, he actually made Luffy bleed via his kicks, which again shows just how powerful he is. He is able to kick people through walls, through steel. He uses it obviously to block kicks, and he can use his feet in just a variety of ways to just totally take over control of the battle, because while people expect a kick, nobody expects his kicks per se, including the one that'll kick you so hard it'll rearrange your face to actually make you look good. Ours is not to question why. Now, as I noted earlier, the key here though is time skip, because One Piece, not unlike certain other anime, decided to do a time skip. And so for 2 years, the various, Straw Hat Pirates went on their ways to go and get stronger. And Sanji spent 2 years on an island without women. That's important. It's not really important to the death battle, but it's hilarious nonetheless. To train himself, including apparently spending days on end running from the creatures of the island. I can't remember their name, I'm sorry. But to run around the island without rest for days because they are just like super fast. And if Sanji, I almost said Kenji again. If Sanji has one superpower beyond his endurance, it's his speed. He is blindingly fast. He's reacted faster than the eye can track, which automatically makes him faster than 7,000 miles per hour, give or take. And was it 9,000? I don't remember now. It's fast. Okay, it's really really fast. He has been able to move in ways that like snipers don't realize they're that they're not going to hit him. He's dodged like a punch or kick that was millimeters away from his face, and he was able to get out of the way. He was able to catch up to people in no time flat, and that was just pre-time skip. Post-time skip, he's like lightning fast. I don't know if it's actual lightning fast, but I'm pretty sure it's close, because he's actually endured and fought people who use lightning, including Enel, I believe the name is. A lot of people on the Rockley preview today were citing Enel as a great feat for Sanji. So yeah, but he is able to do so much speed wise, and he's incredibly stealthy. He knows how to blend in, not have a problem with getting around people, and that's not even including his raid suit. The raid suit was a gift from his family, who I'll be getting back to in a second. And the intent was that it was kind of like a power-up suit, all right? But instead of increasing his powers per se, because he has none, it allowed him to go faster and to turn invisible, which is important because Sanji always wanted to be a superhero and be invisible. He liked that ability. The raid suit will let him be completely invisible. So that's very incredible, and like I said, increases his speed and his endurance apparently. So the Raid 2 is very much a power up that Sanji can use to great effect. Now, in terms of his fighting skills, it is stated that he is the third or fourth, depending on how you like to rank them, strongest Straw Hat pirate, only behind Luffy, Zoro, and maybe one other. I couldn't find that fourth person, so maybe it was only three. But yeah, he's basically on par with Zoro, who we saw in the Urza Scarlet fight, just cut her to ribbons. I guess you could say Scarlet was seeing red. Oh, anyway, but and it's even said that when Zoro and Sanji work together. They're basically an unstoppable force, which is impressive. Now, it is also said that most times Luffy will take the strongest foes, while Zoro and Sanji will take like the ones just a step below. But that's not an insult to either of them because they're incredibly strong fighters. When in the case of Sanji, his arguably greatest feat was beating his family. This family, which recall, especially in regards to his brother and sister, were superpowered. They were enhanced humans because of the whatever was fed to the mother, and Sanji wasn't. Sanji got stronger just through training, and yet he was able to beat his brothers. He was able to beat his father. Technically, his father did win, but it was cheating, including using a human shield, but still. And in case of his Diable Jambe, I'm just going to say both just to cover my bases. In regards to his Diable, he actually burned through his father's armor, which was flame resistant. Yep. He burned so hot, he burned through the armor. And it was after defeating them and actually saving their lives that he got the raid suit. So he's already, done what he felt he was going to do, or he knew what he knew he could be in regards to his family, which he disowned twice. But he's also defeated numerous monsters. He's fought against various generals of the sea, and of course, many other pirates. He has kicked monsters like straight up. He kicked a monster so hard in the foot it made it trip over. Okay. His hand strength, which again he does fight with his hands, was enough to carry a large sack of gold. I can't remember the amount, but it was like a lot, and his fellow Straw Hat Pirate couldn't even carry it. They had to drag it on the ground. He has got his endurance, which I noted was honestly his best feat outside of his cooking, was so good that he was able to endure incredible amounts of pain, not unlike Roronoa or Zoro, and just get up. Like, remember Enel? He took Enel's lightning attack, which vaporized another guy earlier in that One Piece arc. He stood up, made fun of him, and then collapsed. So it wasn't an instantaneous thing. He had the endurance to take that massive lightning attack. He apparently took an explosion that blew up an island and was fine. He has broken his limbs and yet kept fighting, including with like a broken leg. He was attacking with the broken leg. He once was shot and didn't even notice until another Straw Hat Pirate told him he was shot, which is Boss, and so on and so forth. And again, that's just in his base form, I think post time skip. And so when he had the raid suit, which is supposed to increase his speed and durability, he's pretty hard to put down. And again, he's gone on par. He's kind of on par with Zoro, who is also a boss, and Luffy, who he knocked out and made bleed with his kicks. And it took an incredible attack from Luffy and another person to put him down. So yeah, he's something, ain't he? Which brings us to our favorite fact to wrap this up. He likes to think he's a ladies' man. Sanji is kind of like a Kakashi or a Master Roshi, or Jiraiya. Not Kakashi. Kakashi was just an addict. All right, but Jiraiya and Roshi, and that he loves the ladies, and in fact, he loves the ladies so much that anytime there's a beautiful woman around of any kind, he will like go heart eyes. He'll do the nosebleed thing, and he'll just go full perverted. Now, to be clear, he doesn't objectify them. He just likes their beauty to the extent that he wants to be with them, and he's actually incredibly chivalrous to the extent that he will not fight a woman unless in dire straits and have the right reason. And he's actually refused to fight them in certain cases to where he'll just block their attacks or just not do anything at all. He'll even at times try and stop his Straw Hat friends from doing so because he just doesn't like the idea. He'll let a girl fight a girl, or sorry, a woman fight a woman, but he doesn't like it when a man hurts a woman, which again is chivalrous. But after his post time skip, where again he was on an island for 2 years with no women, he went full Roshi. Like it's bad. It's bad. He even told Nami, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that name wrong. He told Nami that she was like 96% of the reason that he joined the Straw Hat Pirates. So yeah. But still, even with that perversion, which obviously will not be a factor in this fight, if it was Naruto, it would be a factor because of his shape-shifting jutsu. But in this fight, it won't matter. But it's just funny. So it really is. But even without that, Sanji is incredibly strong, incredibly fast, incredibly stealthy. Oh, I forgot one thing. He has a haki. Technically, he has two, but his main one is Ken Ben Shoko. I pray I got that right. Ken Ben Shoko, which is like presence haki, if you will. He can sense people all around. He can actually infer intent onto people upon meeting them. He was able to sense that one of the Straw Hat Pirates was losing a fight, even though they weren't even in earshot or visual range. He could just sense that they were there. He noticed a sniper, even though he wasn't directly looking at them, and so on and so forth. So with all these abilities together, you can see why Sanji is such a useful pirate for the Straw Hats. And yeah. Oh, but if you want to feel really bad for Sanji, look up Charlotte Pudding. It's tragic. Moving on to Rockley. I do apologize. I have something in my eye. Moving on to Rockley, whose mentor we've met recently-ish in Might Guy. But not unlike Might Guy, Rockley had an inability to chakra, because in the world of Naruto, chakra is the main source of power for ninjas, which usually lets them use various abilities like his elemental release attacks, the Rasengan, I was about to say Sharingan, but Rasengan, and so on and so forth. Rockley, for one reason or another, was not able to activate that, but he was determined, not unlike his mentor, to be a splendid ninja. And so he trained and trained and trained to get into ninja school, and eventually he got in, which is where he met Might Guy, who decided to teach him the skills of strong fist, which is literally just punching a person to oblivion. But you do kicks as well, obviously. And Rockley took to this very, very well. And in fact, he was working so hard that he even surprised people at times with his early victories. Notice I say early victories. Also, he would put weights on his legs. If you recall a certain Samurai Jack episode, it's that kind of thing, to weigh him down so that when he released the weights, not like he did in this fight with Gaara, he would be stronger and faster. So he was intentionally holding himself back so he could overcome it and be stronger than ever before. And sure enough, with these abilities, he was able to become a truly splendid ninja in his own right. And in his early days at the academy, he was able to beat Sasuke, who, remember, is an Uchiha prodigy and ultimate rival to Naruto, and possibly Kazu's boyfriend. He was able to break Gaara's sand shield, which we have also met Gaara in Death Battle. The shield was so fast you had to be faster than sound to beat it, and then to break it was another thing. And Gaara at that time had been untouchable up until Rock Lee. He's gone up against certain what was his name? Orochimaru, one of his guys, and beat him. Rock Lee is just impressive, okay? He doesn't get the respect he deserves for various reasons, but he honestly does train very, very hard. And not unlike my guy, his greatest strength is his inner drive. He is driven to be better. He is driven to be stronger, to be faster, and to prove that you can be a splendid ninja without needing all your chakra. And not unlike my guy, he was able to use the 8 gates. Now, to refresh, the 8 gates are kind of like portals in your body. All right, it's very Buddhist. And by unlocking these 8 gates, you get various enhancements to your natural powers and abilities and gain new abilities as a result. So for example, if you open up the first gate, you just get a power boost. If you get the second gate, you get a power boost and you actually heal your body. And the further you go along the gates line, all the way up to 8, you get stronger and stronger, faster and faster. The catch is that you get more, I don't want to say more brittle, you suffer long-term damage. All right, I gotta say this correctly. If you use some of these gates and you don't have like a healer next to you, you're going to be in serious trouble, which is why both Rock Lee and Might Guy promise never to use these gates at the higher levels unless in dire situations or someone absolutely needed their help. So, for example, Rockley unlocked the first 5 gates within the earlier years of his life. He unlocked the sixth gate about around 18, I think it was. The seventh gate a little after that, and then by the time he was an adult, he did indeed unlock the eighth gate of death, which I will get to. So, and this is impressive because it specifically stated that not all ninjas can unlock these gates. Like, for example, I'm pretty sure Naruto doesn't have the gates, or Sasuke, or Sakura, or Kakashi. All right, it's only like people like Might Guy and Rock Lee, which is very, very impressive. So Rockley is a lot better than you might think, and he has a few things that even Might Guy doesn't have. The biggest one by far is his drunken style, which anybody who remembers Legend of the Drunken Master from Jackie Chan, great movie, knows exactly how strong that is. He has such a low tolerance for alcohol that even if he has like just a shot of Sasuke, or shot of Sasuke. I was trying to be clever. I meant to say sake. Sorry, Sasuke. It's yeah. Anyway, a shot of sake or any alcoholic beverage, he'll go into a drunken stupor. And the point of drunken boxing is that you don't know what you're gonna do because you're inebriated. All right, you can do forms of martial arts, but what your mind and your body do are basically disconnected, and it makes you incredibly unpredictable. If you remember that Orochihara general I talked about earlier, Rock Lee beat that guy in a drunken stupor, despite the fact that this guy was stronger than Rock Lee. All right, and so he probably will, but should he use this in a fight, including a death battle, that makes him an opponent that is both unrelenting and unpredictable, which is something that's going to be incredibly hard to topple, which brings us to another problem. Rock Lee is so driven that he can fight whether he's unconscious or asleep. It's stated that this is because of muscle memory. So he could be completely unconscious, which actually happened in the Gaara fight. He was basically knocked unconscious, but his body kept fighting because of muscle memory. That's insane. That's Naruto. That's anime. Welcome to our world. So, yeah. Now, going back to the gates for a second, the problem with gates 7 and 8 is that they're basically a death sentence. All right. You could argue that the sixth gate is also a death gate, even though it's ironically called the sixth gate of joy. But 7 and 8 are basically death sentences. 7 would kill most people. Might and his father die. Might Guy might die, and then Rock Lee. Both figured this out and are how to get to that 8th gate, and so did Rock Lee. But if you enter the 8th gate, you will die. Period. End of story. All right. The only catch with Might Guy was that Naruto just happened to be there, and as Boomstick put it, Ninja Jesus showed up right at the time he needed to in order to use, I believe it was a yin yang release technique to stop the flow of chakra or something like that, and he saved his life. But it absolutely shattered his legs. All right. So he was in a wheelchair throughout the rest of his life, including in Boruto. But that still, it's incredibly powerful. As we found out in Might Guy versus All Might, the eighth, sorry, what was it? The Night Guy. There we go. The Night Guy technique, which is his ultimate attack, was strong enough to basically cut Madara in half, who was stronger, who was way more powerful than base form Naruto, whose internal chakra was enough to blow up that massive crater in the moon and such. So we know that Might Guy at 8th gate is able to do that. And it goes to theory, or goes to comparison, I suppose, that Rock Lee would have a similar output. Arguably not as strong as Might Guy in 8th gate form, but really darn close. All right. And it's also stated that he can use various similar techniques to Might Guy in the various gate forms, like the reverse lotus, and I believe you can use morning peacock and stuff like that. So if there is a downside to Rock Lee, it's that he's the victim of plot armor. Like, if you talk to a Naruto fan, they'll tell you that he just doesn't win. ever. All right, like he won early on, like when he did that upset victory against Sasuke, or had that fight with Gaara. But Gaara beat him in the end. In fact, Gaara broke him to an extent to where they said that he would never be a shinobi again, which again shows the drive of Rockley. But the problem with strong fist style is that you leave yourself open to attack. So a very capable opponent will be able to get around your overwhelming power, and thus in the end beat you. And even though he's had those key victories, like against the Orochimaru general and Sasuke and technically Gaara, he doesn't have a lot of feats that you can quantify in certain ways. Like both in the manga and the anime, he just isn't there. Like his high point in as far as I can tell at times, was the Gaara arc. Was when he fought Gaara and showed the awesome power of his training regimen under Guy. So it's really hard to judge him at points because he just doesn't have feats. In fact, I was reading the respect thread for Rockley, and they called him the strongest loser because he is incredibly powerful, especially with the 8 gates, which Luis confirmed is going to be happening in the show because he actually showed the sprites for Rockley in the gates form. So yeah, that is happening, but whether it's enough to beat a certain someone remains to be seen. So who wins in a fight between Rockley and Sanji? This one was actually closer than I thought, because I was told early on that Sanji has this, but then I didn't know that Rock had all 8 gates. I thought he only had like 5 or 6, but he has all 8. And so the question is, when Rock Lee goes 8th gate of death, will it be a similar finale to what would happen with Might Guy? My answer is no. And here's why. I rewatched the Might Guy All Might ending, and which, by the way, it's actually become one of my favorite death battles. I really love that fight. But I watched the results, and they stated that one of the big reasons that Might Guy was able to win was that he's faster than All Might. All right, All Might was fast enough, but he was always about strength and overpowering will than he was about speed. Might Guy was on par with Kakashi in his lightning cutter feat, which was incredibly fast. I don't remember the exact stat, but it's incredibly fast. So, he was fast enough to hit the Night Guy attack. If he missed, he would have died. So, is Sanji faster than Rock Lee? I think he is. Based on what I've seen, he has developed his speed, his reflexes, his kicking ability to such a degree that he can just overwhelmingly go faster than Rock Lee. Rock Lee's fast, all right? I've read the stats. He is incredibly fast. It's stated that his speed is actually 4.5 on a scale of 5, which is good, but I think Sanji's a 5. All right? Plus, Sanji has that awareness haki. What was that? Kenben Shoko or something like that. He has that presence, so he'll be able to tell that the gates are making Rock Lee stronger. At least that's how I inferred the haki. So, and even if Rock tried to use his own speed against him, I don't think it would be enough to get around both the haki and his own feats. Plus, as I stated earlier, while Rock Lee is endurant to a certain extent, his fighting style, I don't know why I keep doing this for Strong Fist, but his fighting style is one that leaves him open to severe damage if they're not careful. And with Sanji, I didn't mention this earlier, but Sanji's actually a tactical genius in his own right. He understands how to work a battlefield and gather information to an extent to solve mysteries and puzzles and everything. He's shown it throughout the series, including rescuing the Straw Hat Pirates, finding someone, realizing that there's only certain ways out of town, and blah, blah, blah. So when Rock starts to use the gates, he's going to realize, okay, this guy's getting stronger with every single gate, so I either have to take him out before he gets to the final gate, or I let him burn out because I can tell that his damage is being done. And the other problem is between the raid suit, which makes him invisible, and to my knowledge, to what I found, I don't think Rock Lee has the area presence to detect an invisible opponent. I could be wrong. I couldn't find anything though. Because remember, you can't use chakra, and that would be what you would use to do that kind of thing. So Rock Lee wouldn't be able to tell where Sanji is because he's invisible. And with that in mind, that's easy to get around the gates. If you can't tell where your opponent is, you're not going to hit him. And the raid suit makes Sanji faster, makes him even more endurant, which is his greatest feat. He takes a brutal amount of damage and can keep going. And so I'm not saying he could survive the 8th gate, but he could get around it, and that's all he would need to trip up Rockley enough to basically make him burn out. So while I think it's close, and closer than some people might think, I think Sanji's got the strength, the speed, the stealth, the battle presence, if you will. Certainly, many of those factors. And then when you throw it in with just how direct Rock Lee can be at times in his fighting style, I think Sanji has it. So I'm going to take Sanji to win this fight. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And with that, I'm ending this episode of Todd Talk. What do you think about this fight, and who do you think will win, and why? And did you happen to see that little 10th anniversary preview of what the season finale is going to be? Because, oh boy, this is going to be a fun one to look at. But I will wait to talk about that until Monday when the reaction video comes out. So again, let me know in the comments below what you think of this fight. And for all of you who helped with Tokyo Blade Tactics number 4, thank you very much. We got fully funded. We were at 98 backers, which was totally awesome. And I appreciate everyone for their help. So I thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I know you were listening, and I'll see you around.